What is up, freaks and peeps? My name is Tim, and welcome back to another episode of Horror for Dummies TV Review Edition. This episode, I'm going to be reviewing another movie for you, and this one is a new movie that's just come out, and it's called The Oak Room. And you're probably asking yourself, what is The Oak Room? Well, let me explain exactly what we have here. So, The Oak Room is a 2021 slow burn mystery thriller film that, quite honestly, will leave people divided. And the plot synopsis on IMDb is: during a raging snowstorm, a drifter returns home to the blue-collar bar located in the remote Canadian town where he was born, when he offers to settle an old debt with a grizzled bartender by telling him a story. That's right, a story. The night's events quickly spin into a dark tale of mistaken identities, double crosses, and shocking violence. Wow. So, who stars in The Oak Room? I will tell you right now. We have RJ Mitty as Steve. He was apparently in Breaking Bad. I never watched the TV series, but I've heard a lot of reviews on this movie, and they say that he was in that show. So, yep, there you go. Peter Outerbridge as Paul. Ari Millen as Michael, and the list goes on. It's got other people in it, but I'm not going to sit here and name every person in it because you probably don't care. I'm guessing that's true. So, my first thoughts on this movie, I can tell you straight up without a shadow of a doubt that this movie is going to leave people divided. And if I'm going to be honest here, the mainstream horror audiences, the ones that like the jump scares and the gore and all that stuff, you're not going to dig this film. Because this is what people would say not a horror film. Where we'll get into that later. This one is very thin on horror. It does have horror in it, and it comes at the end. There is definitely horror in it, but for the most part, we are talking about a very heavy character-driven film, and that's going to leave people divided. If you are into character-driven films, then this one is one to check out. But if you are not into slow burn films, ones that delve deep into the characters, then this is probably one to stay away from. I'm sorry to say. For me, personally, I'm coming in the middle of the road here. The film hooked me in, I'll admit that. And that's mainly due to one factor, and that's the acting. The acting in this movie is fucking phenomenal. RJ Mitty, I've never seen this guy before. As I said, I've never watched Breaking Bad. This is my first time seeing him. He knocks it out of the park. He does such a great job. Actually, all actors in this movie do a phenomenal job in this movie. The acting is phenomenal. I've mentioned that a few times. But what helps the acting is the dialogue. You know, the dialogue is so well written that at times, the dialogue, with it being so well written and the acting, at times there was discussions, there was conversations that these characters are having together that they are so deep and they're so well written and so believable that I came close to crying a few times with the subject matter that these characters talk about. It really brought me into the movie and made me feel like I was actually at a bar eavesdropping on a couple of guys who are actually telling this story. So the biggest praise I can give this movie is the acting. Absolutely phenomenal. Now, I said before that this is a slow film, but it is thick with atmosphere. I will give it that. I could not wait to see how this film was going to wrap up. But unfortunately, this is where the film kind of divides for me. And the ending, and I hate to say this, but the ending is a little flat. I was hoping more for a little bit of a bigger payoff than what we got. It's left in a shock ending, but the build up to the shock ending left me kind of confused and not understanding what exactly happened, to the point that I had to actually go on Google, research what happened, and then when I found out what happened, it still didn't make sense because the movie didn't teach me enough about certain characters to make me really care, and that's a bad thing. That was a really, really disappointing part because I could see this movie gradually building over time to come up with some awesome twist. And yes, it did that, but it just wasn't a big enough payoff. And in the end, I was like, oh, okay. That's strange, and guess that sucks for a certain character, but whatever. That really, really upsetting, that factor. But the thing is, like, would I recommend this to you guys, to people out there listening and watching this movie? And as I said before at the start of this review, if you are one of those mainstream horror audiences that just love jump scares, love over-the-top gore, and that's it, this is one to skip. It's going to bore you. You're not going to like it, and you're probably going to give it a 1 star out of 10 on IMDb. And the film doesn't need that. It really doesn't, because it is a well-made film. It is a well-acted film, a very well-acted film. But the story is very slow. It's very character-driven. If you are a fan of those types of films, then I would say I would recommend this. If you are a fan of, and I'm just completely throwing it out there, this is nothing like The Witch, but if you're a fan of the Witch with its slow pace and character-driven subplots, then this might be a film for you. But to all those people out there that just like a quick action-packed film, I would stay away from this film. That's my honest opinion. I always say check everything out for yourself. That's up to you. For me personally, I'm giving this movie a 6 out of 10. I liked it more than I didn't like it, but it's not really a film that I'll probably ever return to again. And by the time this year's up and I'm making my top 10 best and worst lists of the year, this will probably be straight in the middle. A film that I kind of look at and it takes me a second to think about and remember, and then I'll be like, oh yeah, that's not going in either list. So, unfortunately, not the most incredible film out there, but going into this, I didn't expect that at all. Going into a film I've never heard about. So, that is The Oak Room. And that's it for this review of Horror for Dummies TV. We thank you so much for watching this, and if you would please do us a massive favor and subscribe. Every YouTuber does this, and I don't know what it is, so I'm going to start doing it too. Subscribe, down there. Yep, below me apparently. If you press that subscribe button, you would win a year's worth of good luck. It's complete bullshit. Don't listen to any YouTubers that says that. But hey, thank you. We love you. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and all that good stuff. And if you like our shit, we have Patreon. Go and join it, and we'll catch you next time. Mwah, my beautiful peeps. Mwah!